Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you informed fast. And today, well, we're plunging into something that really shapes almost everything, doesn't it? Our modern lives, basically. It's this world obsessed with results. We're going to look at it through maybe a surprising lens. Zen principles. For this deep dive, we've pulled together some really insightful stuff. We've got The Power of Presence, Beyond Pressure and Performance, this great piece called Zen Principles, Effort Without Attachment, and also a dialogue script, Zen Presence Beyond Results. Really interesting stuff. So our mission today really is to grapple with this question. How can we actually be more effective, find more peace maybe, not by chasing more, but by just being more present? We want to uncover any surprising insights about performance anxiety and this idea of a deeper intelligence that comes from, well, stillness.
Yeah, and this couldn't be more relevant, could it? I mean, for anyone feeling that constant, relentless pressure to produce, and let's face it, that's most of us these days. What's so fascinating here is how these, ancient Zen ideas offer a path it's not just about feeling better, it's a fundamentally different way to think about success, real sustainable success.
You know, it really is striking how deep this results first thing goes. We live in a world where if something doesn't show results fast, we just toss it out, right? Like a new diet doesn't work instantly, or you don't master a skill in a week, or a project misses its KPIs right away. We just call it a failure and move on. That sounds familiar, doesn't it, to you listening?
Absolutely, it's the default mode.
Yeah.
And that's exactly where Zen just flips the script. It doesn't start with, okay, what am I going to get from this?
Yeah.
Instead, it radically asks, can I just be here, truly be here, without needing to get somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
It's a total reorientation,
Yeah.
from grabbing things outside to just experiencing what's inside right now.
Okay, so that immediately makes me think of Shikantaza, which in Zen is specifically just sitting. You know, meditation with no goal, no focus object, just pure presence. Now, for someone like me, steeped in productivity hacks and efficiency, the idea of just sitting,
Yeah.
honestly, it feels almost like an attack on everything we value. It sounds, well, pointless. Like, isn't that just wasting time? My brain kind of screams that initially.
Right. And that's the tension, isn't it? The doing mind sees stillness and thinks inaction, waste. But just sitting, it's not about doing nothing. It's about doing one thing, but doing it fully. Sitting. There's no prize at the end, no achievement badge, just being. Think of it like a detox, a reset for the mind that's always chasing the next thing, the next result. You're not checking in on life. You're actually checking in more directly without that filter of what's next. And for people thinking, how do I fit that in? It doesn't have to be hours on a cushion. It can be bringing that full attention to like washing the dishes or walking the dog, truly listening when someone talks, turning those everyday moments into a little detox from that outcome-driven mode.
That just sitting idea, it really does challenge our default. Yeah. But, okay, then the practical question comes up, right? Isn't striving for goals, for results, isn't that a good thing? Like in work, learning stuff, trying to improve yourself. We need results there, don't we? So how does Zen square that? Effort versus presence? Is there maybe a risk that this non-attachment thing could just lead to, I don't know, complacency, people just giving up?
That's a really important distinction, and Zen is very clear on this. Effort itself, not the problem. It's the attachment to the results that causes the trouble. Zen actually encourages working with your full attention, like really engaging completely in what you do. But, and here's the key, without clinging desperately to the outcome, the practices. Do what you do, give it your all, and then consciously let go of controlling a result. Think about like a tightrope walker. If they're totally obsessed with don't fall, they get tense, rigid, more likely to mess up. But if they're just completely present with each step, feeling the balance, they move fluidly, precisely. That's non-attachment in action. You put in the work wholeheartedly, and then you release that tight grip on exactly how it has to turn out. It's about easing that internal tension, that needing a specific outcome.
You know, that really does make sense when you put it that way. Yeah. I've definitely noticed that myself. Like when I'm lost in a creative project, not worrying about who's going to like it or whatever, the work just kind of flows better. And often the result is actually much better than if I'd been super rigid about some specific goal. And our sources pointed this out too, didn't they? This realization Kenzo has in the dialogue that when he stops obsessing over winning, he actually feels more alive and somehow more effective. It's strange.
Exactly. That's the paradox. When you cultivate that presence, you actually reduce the negative impact of all that external pressure. Your focus shifts. It moves from the future outcome, which causes anxiety, to the immediate experience, which calms it down. So the improved performance isn't despite non-attachment. It happens because of it. You're basically freeing up all this mental, emotional energy that was previously just tied up in worrying.
Okay, so if Zen isn't saying don't try, what's the real difference then between effort and attachment? How do we actually live that difference day to day? What does it really look like, to shift from always chasing something to just being with something?
It's a core shift.
Yeah.
It really is. Prioritizing presence over pressure. It means you engage completely, whatever you're doing, talking to someone, working on a task, being creative. But without that background hum of stress, that need for it to turn out a certain way, you show up fully for the moment, for the process, instead of being mentally yanked into the future, worrying about what if. You're still active, you're still doing the thing.
Yeah.
But inside, the whole landscape feels different, calmer. And here's the real kicker, the kind of aha moment that ties it together. From this state of presence, this stillness, a deeper intelligence seems to emerge. This isn't the intelligence born from stress, from frantic effort trying to force an answer. It's an intelligence that comes from clarity, stillness. Like, imagine a pond. If the water's all stirred up and muddy, you can't see the bottom, right? But when it settles, it becomes still. Everything becomes clear. You see right down to the depths. That mental stillness allows for more insightful, more intuitive, and ultimately, more effective action than when you're operating under strain.
Wow, that's really compelling. But also a bit tricky for me to grasp fully. I'm so used to the push, the grind. But I can think back to times I felt really in the flow, where ideas just seem to pop up and the effort feels easy, almost effortless. Maybe like when you're really into a hobby, you're not doing it for a grade or a promotion just because you love it. That feeling, that effortless effectiveness where things just seem to align. Maybe that's connected to this stillness bringing insight idea. Like the answer just presents itself instead of you having to wrestle it down.
Yeah.
Or maybe just sitting or even just being is actually the most rebellious act you can do in this results obsessed world. It's choosing to step off the treadmill, even just for a little while.
I think that's beautifully put, absolutely. Because when you stop running, when you quiet that constant mental chatter, you often find you were already home. You were already where you needed to be.
So if you're listening and feeling overwhelmed by that constant pressure, perform, produce, always do more, maybe it really is time to just pause. Try, just as an experiment, focusing not on the results for a bit, but just on being fully present in whatever you're doing and just watch. See what happens. See what shows up without judgment. We really encourage you to just notice your own experience through this slightly different lens.